This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Tuesday, April the 9th, 2024. We're so glad you could join us. Coming up a little later on in our program, we're going to talk with the folks at Fendt about making sure that technology is available for farms of every size. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the Ag Market Recap.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day, and right now we're talking with Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net. And Ross, what did we see here at the end of the day on those grain trades?
Hey, Dustin. It was a red day of trade across the grain markets. Corn finished the day 4 to 5 cents lower. Soybeans, they were 6 lower. Meal was just a little bit lower. And over in the wheat complex, Kansas City was 6 to 7 lower, and Chicago was around 8 cents lower.
So as we look at that, I mean, any of that, was there any signal as to what was causing that? Is it a positioning before the WASD report? I mean, what kind of intuition do we have on this?
I would say from a news standpoint, it's really quiet. You got a managed money crowd that they've been short the grains. We've watched them lighten up some of those short positions. And for the time being, they seem content. I would say not to cover much more of these shorts. We do have the WASD on Thursday. Typically, this isn't a big market mover for WASD reports per se. So I don't think anyone's expecting too many big changes. Slight reduction. Expectations are for a slight reduction in the corn carryout and some slight increases to the bean and wheat carryouts, mainly from just smaller exports for the bean and wheat markets. So I just think we're struggling right now. You've got for the most part, a favorable forecast as the U.S. is getting into planting. Yesterday, we saw the planting report. We were 3% planted versus, which is right in line with where the expectations were and where we normally are. It will be a slower week of progress with out into the east. They've had plenty of moisture, but the west we'll see solid progress out here in the west. So it's just the time of the year that there's not really a whole lot of new news to feed the bulls and for the managed money crowd to really look at covering any more of these shorts right now until more than likely we get further through planning and into more of the heart of the growing season.
All right, and so then looking at an area, though, where we have seen a lot of volatility in the last couple of days, and that is the livestock, especially the cattle markets. Ross, what do we see starting at that cattle side? What did we see come out of it today?
More volatility. We had a firmer day of trade across the cattle markets. It's 2 days in a row now that live cattle have had triple-digit gains. April live cattle were $1.30 higher. June was $1.52 higher. Over in the feeder side of things, May feeders were $2.30 higher. All of that said, we haven't really done a whole lot. I mean, we had that extreme volatility last week where feeders were for the most part $10 lower on the week, and fats, they were $9 lower. So really, it seems like we're near these 62% retracement levels for both fats and feeders, and we're kind of just consolidating here. I don't know that we have a whole lot going right now on the technical side of things, other than it's a bounce off the steep oversold conditions. When you get those aggressive of sell-offs, say $8 to $10 at some point, I mean the selling usually and ultimately does let up, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. The cash last week was a little bit lower, but April fat cattle still remain a steep discount to where last week's cash trade averages were. I don't know that there's a whole lot of optimism so far this week for cash to be higher. I know there's hope. There's always hope that it's going to be higher, but I would say expectations have been to try holding it steady given the meltdown that we saw last week in the board. And if we can see the cattle markets find some more strength here throughout the week, especially on the live cattle side of things, it'll certainly help cash. But I mean, the box beef market, it's been the sell-off that it's had. I mean, we had a sharp recovery yesterday where between choice and select they were $4 to $5 higher, and today it's been pretty quiet. But that's been the cutout markets really cut into the packer margins where they are running in the red right now, and it makes it difficult to have a whole lot of optimism on the cash side of things, as we typically we don't see the Packers operate in the red for very long. It's not very common, and we've also got a choice select spread that's been within $1 of each other, and that's also not something that we typically see right now.
Now, switching over to the hog side of things, what do we see in that market?
Hogs had another strong day. April hogs were 85 cents higher. The June contract ended the day 65 cents higher. And that June and July hog contract continues to get a lot of attention, and rightfully so. Hogs, you look at a chart and they've essentially just been straight up and continue to make new contract highs. There remains optimism across the hog market. Just as it works into tighter numbers, the cutout was firmer again here this morning. It's been a good move for the hog market, and you've got expensive beef. Pork is moving. It's getting some support from the beef market and the anticipation of tighter numbers down the road. And just as there hasn't been any new news for the beef industry with the avian influenza story, which is good that we haven't heard of any new cases, or there hasn't been any new cases on the human side of things either. So that's a really good thing for the beef industry, but that has helped the hog industry, as people have brought into the question, if there was concerns around the beef demand side from the consumers, would it support the hogs? And I think you've seen that. So the hog market remains in good shape.
All right, well, Ross, if folks out there want to, make some adjustments with what they're thinking about marketing wise, or want to just kind of get an idea of what the climate is out there, what's the best way for them to get in touch with agmarket.net?
You can reach me directly at our office here in Anthony. Our number is 712-373-3276, or you can find any of the ag market brokers on our website, agmarket.net.
All right, well, Ross, thanks so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks for having me, Dustin. Have a good one.
And that again was Ross Baldwin of agmarket.net. Let's take a look at the closing numbers on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network market screen.
May corn closed down 4 1/4 at $4.31 1/4. Soybeans down 7 cents at $11.74 1/2. Soy meal down 40 cents at $3.35.60. Soy oil down 38 cents at $47.52. Chicago wheat down 8 cents at $5.57 3/4. Kansas wheat down 8 at $5.77 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up a penny at $6.51 1/4. Oats unchanged at $3.29 3/4. On the Merck April live cattle up $1.30 at $180.70. Feeders up $1.40 at $240.70. Lean hogs up 90 cents at $98.77. Pork cutouts up 77 cents at $104.87. And Class 3 milk down 12 cents at $15.55.
And that's been our ag market recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we talk with Brandon Montgomery of Fendt. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, often when we think about agricultural technological advances, we think that sometimes they're only available for the big guys, and that causes some consternation for small and medium farms. Well, the fact is that even though this does happen, the folks at Fendt are trying their best to make sure that their technological advances are available on implements of every size so every farm can benefit. We talked with Brandon Montgomery of Fendt during Commodity Classic in Houston, Texas. Talking to the folks at Fendt, specifically Brandon Montgomery of Fendt. Brandon, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to talk with us here today.
Hey, thanks a lot for being here. Appreciate it.
All right, so we got farmers coming in from all over the country, and I think they have in common is they need equipment. They need to have tractors they can count on, planters, sprayers, what have you. What is it you guys are talking about with Fendt to these customers about from all over the place?
The big thing that we're talking about here today with Fendt is the whole Fendt systems approach and the systems-based solution. So standing here behind me today is the 728 Gen 7 Fendt tractor married up with our 30-foot Momentum planter. And this is the best package that we think we can offer today for our mid-sized farmers. We also go from 30-foot also up to 60-foot with our Momentum planter. But this one with 30-foot has the same technology and precision planting that we've got on the 60-foot down to the 30-foot. So we're excited to talk about that. We've also got the Ideal Combine without the joystick, or without the steering wheel. It's a joystick steering, 50-foot header in front of you. We got the nice Rogator behind us here today, which is a 2-in-1 system that'll go from 56 up to 72 inches to get that late season fungicide application. And then we have all of our tractors, so from 95 horsepower all the way to 770 horsepower. So we cover a full breadth. And then lastly, we talk about our Gold Star warranty. You know, we're the industry exclusive that's standard with a 3-year full machine bumper-to-bumper warranty. All you add is grease and fuel. That's it. And then to tap it off, we end up with all of our technology. We got a wonderful mech trailer. It's our mobile experience trailer that really talks about the technology. So many of our growers have questions like, hey, I've got this system today, but if I buy a Fendt tractor tomorrow, how do I make our system currently work on your tractor? So we answer those questions and a lot of how-to. So make sure you come and visit us.
All right, so a couple things you mentioned in there that really caught my ear. First of all, let's start with that Gold Star warranty. Why is it so important, especially when you're talking about what tractors and planters cost? Why is it so important to make the farmers have that peace of mind that for 3 years, all they got to worry about is the lubricants and fuel?
Like you just said, it's peace of mind, right? It's about a fixed cost of ownership. So if we can take that out and the guesswork for our growers to know what that ownership cost is going to be over 3 to 5 years, I think we had a slam dunk, and we're the only ones that are doing that right now. So what you do when you buy our product, you know that all those payments, when it comes to maintenance and service and all the inspections, are gone. We do all that for you, and it's included for free inside the piece of machinery.
One thing I also found interesting is you mentioned how you got this showcase for the mid-sized farmer. So many of the other equipment companies, let's just call them that, have focused on getting bigger and stronger, and there's a place for that, and that is great. But it seems like the technologies they're putting forward now, they seem to forget that there are people who have less than 10 or 15,000 acres that would still like to have that technology, but don't need it on a 40-foot corn head or a 60-foot planter.
That's a great point. You know, we know that those markets exist. Obviously, we've got products that can serve that industry, but there's a lot of underserved customers that are, 1,000 to 5,000 acres that still need a great support plan. And we're here to serve them just as much as we are anybody else. So we've got a product line to fit the portfolio that they need with the tractor, the planter, the combine, and the sprayer that can fit that mid-size and small farmer too. So don't feel like you're isolated. We want to make sure we do business with everybody.
All right, so we talked about a few of the pieces of equipment you've got here, but if you were going to pick one thing that you're most excited about, and I know it's probably a tough thing to do, but there's something that you really like, this is the thing I'm really into this year, talking to farmers about, what is that piece?
I think the biggest thing we're here to talk about, besides the steel and iron, is the technology. We don't want to make you feel like you're isolated and locked into one operating system. We're here to talk about our mixed fleet technology and how we can make that come to life on your farm, so that way you can step into our products and have that ease of mind and peace of mind that you can come into our brand without being locked into something specific when it comes to onboard and offboard technology. The last thing I'd really love for our audience members, especially in Iowa, is talk about the Fendt Lodge.
Okay.
So the Fendt Lodge is a brand new customer center. It's in Jackson, Minnesota, so it's not that far away. If you're coming up 35, go west, you'll hit right into Jackson on I-90. That is the brand home for Fendt in North America. So we're putting our stake in the ground saying, hey, we are here to stay. And that's where the tractors are produced, the Fendt Rogators are produced there, and then you can learn about our combines, tractors, precision technology, Gold Star warranty, every tool we have available to serve our customers, but also just hang out. Come see us, use it as event space, and learn about Fendt. So make sure you come see us. We're opening up in May this year, and visit us on www.fendtlodge.com.
And that was, again, Brandon Montgomery of Fendt. And that brings us to the end of today's program. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. Don't forget to also check us out on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and on our YouTube channel. And while you're there, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified each time we put out a new video product. Also, don't forget about our 3 times a day free market podcasts, openings, middays, and closings. You can find those on Amazon, Apple, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. And replays of them, Iowa Ag Matters, Weekend Ag Matters, and all of our programming is available at iowaagnet.com. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Hoffman. For Andy Peterson, Mark Magnuson, and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.